Shalom, shalom. First, we want to start off by giving all honor, praises, and infinite glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors into the elders, apostles, and bishops of GMS Great Millstone, who rule well, teach and edifying, peace and blessings. To sincere Akim wa Akwat in his house of faith. My name is Ishai from the GMS Arizona Church in Ottawa, Ratazah. You're going to make an edifying, quick hit. I was tuning into the elder Manata Zakba of GMS South Carolina, and he, through the Spirit, he brought out this report on T wristbands, okay, or on those sleepies, right? And let's actually read this real quick. And it says, it would behoove you to watch the elders video too. The elders are very strong, is very, very mighty, right? And very edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahshua. But let's go ahead and read this real quick. And it says, keep your family out of malls and large events. I got credible intel from a high source today. The sleeper cells will oosh. The nappy man Salakia. Oh, really, YouTube don't take this shit down, but hey, the nappy men with all the T-mans that came here are gonna attack in a Mumbai style. Gonna do strategic hits with different groups at different locations. Then when the first responders come to help, another attack is going to happen to them as well. And that's what Iran's even doing right now. They're moving more strategically than the United States when it comes to the attacks that are happening out there in the Middle East. That Iron Dome's getting cracked, okay? We've seen that. The Iron Dome's getting cracked. You got fucking United States casualties. You got some Iranian casualties, but the United States looks like it's an all-out, like the bully that pushed this one kid, and that kid turned out to know karate type shit. Okay, getting fucking a whole shin to your face, okay? And we're in those times, Akim. We're in those times, and if we cannot ignore the fact that years prior, during the sleepy Biden administration, he opened up the southern border. Okay, and that will ultimately that worked to create a place for all different people from all different nations of the world to be able to go and have free access into the United States in however fashion they wanted to do it. Okay, and that's the thing. We have to be circumspect because there's certainly agents, sleepy men, all throughout this nation. But there's even, individuals that got eyes on us. The brother Tazar from the GMS Arizona camp, he says, when he tells his woman, you gotta move like you're being hunted. And that goes for you Akwat that are without husbands. Okay, you are Akwat and you ain't got a husband. You need to be moving in a sense of you being hunted. Okay, the Spirit of the Lord is soon going to be greatly revealed within those that are possessors of it. Okay, you ain't going to be able to hide your cape forever. And when the time comes that all this comes upon us, 1 Corinthians 4:9 speaking about the apostles shall come last. The persecution of those that are sent away that serve the Yahweh Shem Yahshua, because that word apostles goes into sent away. Right, that persecution is going to fall upon them. Lastly, you see Jake, you see Northern Kingdom getting fucked up. Soon enough, Southern Kingdom going to get some hits. Then you're going to see Edomites and Moabites and Ammonites. You're going to see the whole, everybody getting, fucked up. But then eventually, as we get closer to those times, especially when we get closer to the R5D microsia being mandated, right, we're going to see that all eyes are going to be on us. And we need to actually move in that type of spirit now, starting now, and keeping that on us now, because it's only a matter of time. But let's go and get some precepts, because, man, this is a spiritual thing. The Lord, has, like the scriptures say in 2nd Esdras, he labored greatly to make them perfect. Part of making his elect perfect is making them circumspect, making them understand the times that we're in, and making them understand that there's no safety here. You cannot be at ease. Okay, you got to be on alert, man. You got to make sure you have your scopeo intact, man. You know, head on a swivel. Don't be putting yourself in bad situations. Okay, don't be around evil people. Get the fuck away from evil people. First, that Proverbs chapter 2. You know, run not with them to do evil, man. All right, you know, don't be around people like that. You know, always be circumspect about who you let inside of your home, who you let, you know, inside of your mind. At that, man, be aware of the woman that's around you. Shit, YNs be setting people up with women. You don't think Esau could do the same fucking thing? Okay, we got to be ultra circumspect about everything that's going on around us and the people that's around us. But let's get to the precepts. Salakia for my ramble. I'm gonna get Philippians. No, Salakia. It's Ephesians 5. All right, in 14. And that reads, wherefore he say, awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Hamashiach shall give thee light. All right, that light, man, part of that comes from this, you know, the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, the name, and these scriptures, man. And a part of these scriptures, we understand how to maneuver. All right, we know how to do, you know, we understand, you know, a grasp all the way from table mannerisms all the way to what the MOTB is. Okay, we have to exercise those things. So see then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the times because the days are evil. And that's what's happening now. This is pre-flood times, man. This is pre-flood times. And through the Spirit, that spiritual ark was being built. Right? The elect are being established in the Spirit and power of the Lord, man. All right? And great evil is about to touch this place, man. Famine, death, pestilence. Let's get that in Sirach. Okay, this is Sirach chapter 39. And we're going to get to verse 26. It says, this principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, salt, flour or wheat, honey, milk, the blood of the grape, and oil and clothing. These are like the essentials for human beings. And guess what? A lot of these things are about to be ripped away. All right? A lot of these things are about to be completely ripped away from a first world country that never had to deal with shit like that. Because regardless of any fact, Babylon is expensive, but you can still find 99-cent t-shirts. You can still find $2, $3, $5 meals if you absolutely starving. You can find a fucking 99-cent meal. You can find free meals, man, if you absolutely starving. You know, alcohol is cheap. You can get $5 wine, okay? You know, all these, you know, iron, salt, wheat, you know, all these things are still accessible, and they've been accessible. All right, what happens to a nation that never had to experience inaccessibility, the basics that they've been so accustomed to? They're gonna go fucking nuts. It's gonna be anarchy, lawlessness. We already see small increments of that happening. And how much more when they start, you know, plaguing you jakes, man? You know, when the southern kingdom starts getting involved, when Judah starts doing the crazy shit that they end up doing. What happens when they start doing those things? You know, and that's why we gotta walk circumspect now, because we can't be in the mix of that shit, man. We're not protesters. We're not the fucking Panther Party. You know, we're the men of the Lord, and Lord willing, we all make it to the end. Okay? And the bottom line is, there's a lot of evil happening in this day that's easily to recognize. But, you know, it could take one slip up for you to lose everything, man. It could take one slip up or one lack of judgment or one prideful thought to think that you know better, that you do better, for everything to come falling the fuck apart. And that's why we got to stay in the spirit of praying, fasting, and really trying our best to stay in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, because what's going to happen next? You're going to see a lot of vengeful fucking spirits coming out, man. You know, these sleepy men, they're going to come out dropping bombs on this shit. Boom. Something that's going to be, you know, breathtaking in a sense. Think about everybody that saw, you know, I wasn't alive during the time, but think about the time of 9/11. When that fucking, when that PSYOP hit. Okay, when that hit, everybody was just like, what the fuck? Who knew something like this can actually happen? All right, but those that are in this truth are not arrogant. Okay? Matter of fact, real quick. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11. Did I get that right? No. Is it 2 Corinthians 2 and 11? Yeah, 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11. It says, lest Satan should get advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. We're not ignorant of his devices. And let's look into that word devices. Okay? And that says a mental perception, thought, an evil purpose. Things at which the mind, thoughts, or purposes. So intentions. You know? We're not left unaware of the evil intentions that are going to happen to this place, man. The things that the left-hand side has to come for this place, man. We understand that the Lord makes peace and creates evil. And guess what? If you fear Yahweh Shem Yahushua, it will behoove you to hearken unto the men of the Lord, which say, and blow that trumpet and tell you to be the fuck circumspect, man. If you fear Yahweh Shem Yahushua, you listen to the warning. Proverbs says, you know, the wise man foreseeth the evil and removeth himself. Or the prudent man foreseeth the evil and remove himself. But the foolish basically go into the darkness or go into destruction, roughly paraphrasing. You know, we don't want to reap that fate. So we have to be aware of the times that we're in. Verse 27, all these things are good to the godly. So the sinners, they are turned into evil. Okay? Ultimately, man, we got to hold on to a pure way to the best of our ability, man. Rehearsing these righteous acts, doing the best that we can. Because guess what? Those, playing as well. Those that ain't doing right, man, they're going to get revealed, man. Those that ain't doing right going to get revealed. And guess what? They path going to be cut off. Imagine you was walking a straight gate. And all of a sudden, you walking down this path, man. Like, really imagine this in your mind, Lord willing. You know, you walking this tightrope, essentially. And then you get to a certain path to that tightrope where it's just fucking nothing. No more path to walk. Okay? You know, visually, we have to be visionaries, man. The scriptures talk about when the vision faileth, you know, hope, you know, basically that's that loss of hope, man. And the apostles say, you know, a man that, you know, a lot of guys that fall out of this truth, they can't see themselves in that position. They can't see them. Man, you have to see yourself in a position of running and fleeing. In a position of the Lord saving you out of troubles. You have to visually see yourself in danger, man. Meditating, like, okay, cool. But don't bug out over it. Have a balance to it, of course. But just know that we're going to have times like that are going to come upon us, man. And it's going to be ugly as all hell. It says verse 28, and we will probably close it out there. Probably verse 29. It says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Straight up, man. The Lord is unhappy with his world. All right, the Lord is on, you know, is going to exercise a lot of destruction in this place, man. And he's going to use these devils to do it. It says fire, hail, and famine, and death. All these were created for vengeance. So, you know, I pray that this lesson was edifying. You know, keep a good scopeo out, man. We in some absolute, you know, we in the times of the end, man. Y'all, you know, lastly, all honor, praise, and infinite glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushua Shem.